Get off this property before I call the police. Anna stared at the woman blocking her own front door, keys trembling in her hand. I just bought this house. Imagine working 3 jobs for 5 straight years, skipping every vacation, every night out, every moment of rest, saving every spare dollar just to afford your very first home. Imagine signing every document, holding those keys in your hand, whispering through tears, "I did it. I really did it." Now imagine arriving on move-in day, your car packed with everything you own, your heart so full it might burst, only to find a moving truck already parked in your driveway. Children's toys scattered across the grass you planned to water. Curtains you never bought hanging in windows you dreamed about for years. And a completely different family living inside the house you legally, properly, undeniably purchased. That's exactly what happened to Anna Lewis, a hardworking black woman who sacrificed everything to earn her piece of the American dream. But the nightmare waiting for her wasn't the confused family standing in her doorway. It was the woman behind them, the one who orchestrated the entire scheme. Sabrina Carl, the HOA president who believed her clipboard made her queen of Beverly Crest. Sabrina didn't just steal Anna's home. She sold it illegally, fraudulently, while Anna wasn't there. She forged documents, weaponized fear, and tried to use her so-called authority to bury the truth. But today, Sabrina was about to learn she picked the wrong woman, the wrong house, and the wrong lie to hide behind. Because the moment the officers arrived, her entire scam began to collapse. Anna Lewis had been waiting 2 months for this day. After closing on her first home, a charming 1-story bungalow on a tree-lined street in Beverly Crest, she'd spent weeks finishing a critical project at work and organizing everything she needed before officially moving in. The deed was signed, the mortgage payments automatically deducting from her account, the keys tucked safely in the zippered pocket of her purse where she touched them every single day just to make sure they were real. Everything about the purchase was legitimate, authenticated by the county, verified by her attorney. She'd checked and double-checked every document because she always knew, that being a black woman buying property meant someone might question her right to exist in spaces like this. Today was supposed to be simple. Pull into her driveway, unlock her own front door, and step into the future she'd bled for. Instead, the moment her Honda Civic rolled up to the curb, her excitement twisted violently into confusion. There was a silver minivan parked in her driveway. A pink tricycle lay on its side near the mailbox. A cheerful welcome home doormat sat on the porch, one she'd never seen before. Light flickered through the living room window, behind curtains with patterns of sunflowers. Curtains she didn't own. Anna sat frozen behind the wheel, heart hammering against her ribs. Maybe the realtor made a mistake. Maybe contractors were still finishing work inside. But when she forced herself out of the car and walked slowly up the path, her legs feeling like they might give out, a blonde woman opened the door with a startled gasp. 2 small children peeked from behind her legs, wide-eyed and curious. "Can I help you?" the woman asked, her voice polite but confused. She was holding a set of keys. House keys. Anna's throat tightened. She took a careful breath, forcing herself to stay calm even though panic was rising like floodwater. "Yes. I'm Anna Lewis. This is my house." The woman's face drained of color. Her hand flew to her chest. A man appeared behind her, tall and clean-cut, holding paperwork in one hand and a coffee mug in the other. Derek Hoffman. He looked between Anna and his wife, clearly alarmed. "I'm sorry, there must be some mistake," he said, though his voice wavered. "This home was sold to us 6 weeks ago. We finalized everything with the HOA president. She handled the entire transfer personally." That name landed like a stone in Anna's stomach. Sabrina Carl, the woman who'd sent her 3 passive-aggressive letters before closing, questioning whether Anna truly understood the neighborhood standards. Before Anna could respond, Monica Hoffman was already pulling out her phone, fingers shaking as she dialed. She whispered urgently into the receiver, her eyes darting toward Anna like she was something dangerous. Not 3 minutes later, a white luxury SUV screeched to a stop at the curb. The door swung open, and out stepped Sabrina Carl, blonde bob stiff as a helmet, clipboard clutched to her chest like a shield, chin raised high, like she owned not just the street but the air above it. The second she saw Anna standing on the porch, her expression curdled into something ugly. "You again?" Sabrina snapped, striding forward with that confident march of someone who'd never been told no in her entire life. "I already told these homeowners that someone like you couldn't possibly own this property. Stop harassing this family." Anna felt the words hit her like a slap. "Someone like me?" She stiffened, hands curling into fists at her sides, but she kept her voice steady. "I bought this home legally, Ms. Carl. I have all the documents." Sabrina waved her off with one dismissive flick of her wrist. "Save it. You people always try this nonsense." She pulled out her phone and aggressively dialed, her voice rising to a theatrical pitch. "Yes, 911? I need officers immediately. There's an intruder at 447 Maplewood Lane refusing to leave private property. She's threatening the homeowners." Anna's stomach dropped. The Hoffmans looked overwhelmed, confused, but too terrified of Sabrina to say anything that might contradict her. Monica pulled her children closer. Derek shifted uncomfortably but stayed silent. Sabrina ended the call and turned back to Anna with a smile that didn't reach her cold blue eyes. "The police will handle you," she said. "And when they do, I'll make sure you're banned from this neighborhood for good." Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder with every second. Anna's pulse hammered in her ears, but she forced herself to stay rooted on the porch. She would not run. She would not give Sabrina the satisfaction. 2 police cruisers turned onto Maplewood Lane, lights cutting through the late afternoon sun. Neighbors began stepping out onto their porches, phones already recording. The first cruiser stopped at the curb and 2 officers climbed out. One was a broad-shouldered white man with calm, assessing eyes. Officer Nathan Briggs. The other was a black woman, younger, sharper, her hand resting near her belt as she scanned the scene with the practiced eye of someone who'd seen this script before. Officer Riley Carditon. Sabrina rushed toward them before they even reached the walkway, waving her clipboard like it was a weapon. "Officers, thank God you're here," she exclaimed, voice dripping with manufactured distress. She pointed directly at Anna. "That woman is trespassing and threatening these innocent homeowners. She refuses to leave." Both officers turned toward Anna. Officer Carditon spoke first, her tone professional but curious. "Ma'am, we need to understand what's happening here. Do you live at this address?" Anna lifted her hands slightly, keeping them visible, keeping her voice even. "Yes. My name is Anna Lewis. I purchased this property 2 months ago. Today is my move-in day. I don't know who these people are or how they got inside my house." Sabrina scoffed loudly, a sharp, theatrical sound. "Listen to her, just making things up as she goes. This house was abandoned, and as HOA president, I facilitated the sale. These folks bought it fair and square." The Hoffmans didn't look so sure anymore. Derek cleared his throat nervously, glancing between the officers and Sabrina. We were told the previous owner forfeited the property due to unpaid fees. We paid in full. She showed us all the paperwork." Officer Briggs stepped closer to Anna, his expression unreadable. "Do you have proof of ownership? ID? Documents?" Anna nodded, grateful she'd prepared for exactly this possibility. She pulled a thick folder from her backpack, the one she'd been carrying like a talisman. Original deed with the county stamp. Title insurance documents. Copies of bank transfers showing her down payment and monthly mortgage debits. Purchase agreement signed by her, the seller, and notarized. She handed everything over calmly, though her hands shook slightly. The officers examined the papers carefully, flipping through dates, signatures, official seals. Sabrina rolled her eyes dramatically. Those are fake, obviously. She probably printed them off the internet. Officer Carterton shot her a sharp look that could have cut glass. Ma'am, let us do our job. Next, she turned to the Hoffmans. Do you have your purchase documents? Derek nodded quickly, retrieving a folder from inside. But the moment Officer Briggs opened it, his brow furrowed. The documents were printed on plain office paper with a generic HOA letterhead. Handwritten signatures that didn't match any official formatting. No county seal. No notary stamp. No title company involvement. Just a transfer agreement signed by Sabrina Carl on behalf of the Beverly Crest HOA board. Officer Briggs looked up slowly. Where did you get these documents? Derek swallowed hard. She gave them to us. Both officers turned toward Sabrina. Her posture stiffened, chin jutting out defensively. I facilitated the sale because the property was vacant and owed fees. It's part of my authority as HOA president. Officer Carterton's voice was flat, unamused. No, it's not. The air seemed to shift in that moment. The Hoffmans stepped back, horror dawning on their faces as the truth sank in. Monica's eyes filled with tears. We paid her everything we had, she whispered. Our entire savings. Sabrina's voice cracked, rising in pitch. This is ridiculous. He's lying. They're lying. Everyone's lying except me. I run this neighborhood. I protect property values. I make the rules here. Officer Briggs lifted his radio. Dispatch, we need a fraud detective at 447 Maplewood Lane. Possible real estate scam. Sabrina's face went pale. She took a small, involuntary step backward. Sabrina's breath quickened, her eyes darting between the officers and her SUV parked 15 feet away. Officer Briggs lowered his radio and turned toward her, his voice calm but firm. Ma'am, don't go anywhere. We're going to need to ask you more questions. But Sabrina wasn't listening anymore. The moment Officer Carterton glanced down at Anna's documents again, Sabrina pivoted sharply and bolted toward her vehicle. Stop, Officer Carterton shouted, but Sabrina ignored her, clipboard clutched under her arm, heels clicking frantically against the pavement. Anna reacted on pure instinct. She stepped off the porch and moved directly into Sabrina's path, blocking the driver's side door. Sabrina jerked to a halt, eyes wild. Get out of my way, she shrieked, swinging her clipboard. I'm the HOA president. I can do whatever I want. Not anymore, Anna said quietly. Officer Briggs grabbed Sabrina's arm, twisting it gently but firmly behind her back as Officer Carterton snapped handcuffs around her wrists. Sabrina let out a piercing scream. This is harassment. I'm protecting community standards. She's the one trespassing. Arrest her. Neither officer responded to the theatrics. Derek stepped forward, clutching the fraudulent documents, his face ashen. Officer, we paid her our entire savings. Are you saying none of this is real? Officer Carterton nodded solemnly. I'm afraid so. These are not legal transfer documents. You were scammed. Monica sank down onto the porch step, pulling Chloe and Liam close as tears streamed down her face. We didn't know. We trusted her. Anna exhaled slowly, anger and sympathy tangling in her chest. None of this is your fault, she said gently. You were targeted just like I was. Sabrina continued thrashing until the officers guided her firmly toward the cruiser. Her voice cracked as she screamed at the neighbors gathering on the street, phone still recording. You should all thank me. I was keeping this place safe. This community deserves better than her. Enough, Officer Briggs snapped. She fell silent for the first time. Another cruiser arrived, followed by an unmarked sedan. Detective Harmon Sloan stepped out, gray-haired and methodical, his eyes taking in the scene with the patience of someone who'd seen 1,000 scams before. He separated everyone for statements. Anna provided every piece of documentation she had, along with the timeline of her purchase and the threatening letters Sabrina had sent. The Hoffmans provided receipts, messages from Sabrina, access to their emails. Detective Sloan studied everything carefully. "This isn't just a misunderstanding," he said finally. "This looks deliberate, and I have a strong feeling this isn't her first time." Two neighbors, fed up with years of Sabrina's tyranny, stepped forward and pointed the officers toward the HOA office behind the community pool. Within 20 minutes, officers returned carrying boxes of files. Inside were forged violation letters, fake lien notices, fraudulent transfer agreements for at least 6 other properties. Detective Sloan skimmed through the evidence, his jaw tightening. "She's been running this scam for years." The Hoffmans looked devastated. "She did this deliberately," Derek whispered. "For a long time." Detective Sloan confirmed. He turned to Anna, handing back her documents. "Ms. Lewis, this house is yours. County records confirm it. You'll have full access within the hour." Relief washed through Anna, so powerful her knees nearly buckled. Detective Sloan assured the Hoffmans they wouldn't be charged and the state would work to recover their money. When officers opened the cruiser door, Sabrina tried one last desperate plea. "You can't arrest me. I run this neighborhood." "No," Detective Sloan corrected, pulling out the formal arrest paperwork. "You ran a criminal enterprise." They read her charges one by one. Real estate fraud, forgery, fraudulent transfer of property, identity theft, conspiracy, theft by deceptio, and her voice broke. Mascara smeared down her cheeks. For the first time, she had nothing to say. Why? As the cruiser pulled away, Anna stood on the porch of the home she'd earned, the home she'd fought for, breathing steady. Why? The nightmare was finally over. Tomorrow, she would move into the future she deserved. If you believe scammers like Sabrina deserve every consequence, subscribe for more stories where justice wins. Anna didn't back down, and neither should you when facing injustice. If stories like this fire you up and remind you why standing up matters, subscribe to Twister Stories. We're building a community that refuses to stay silent when people abuse power. Click the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and let's keep exposing the truth together. Till then, stay brave.